Hello, this is TelecomTV. I'm Martin Warwick and I'm talking with Helmut Schörner, who is Senior Manager Virtual Network Products Europe for Verizon. Helmut, welcome. Thanks for being here. Start with this one. What is zero-touch automation?
Zero-touch automation is primarily two things in my definition. The first one is, of course, the simple concept of a plug-and-play process where you potentially have a CPE or software that you want to deploy by a setup or process that involves as many touch points as possible. So this can be shipping of a device, it can be automatic download of a software like an operating system or automatic configuration of policies. And all of these together form the zero-touch provisioning setup or feature. It's not just one of them, they all have to go hand in hand. Yeah. And there are, of course, a lot more variables and things that come into the equation here when you look later on at managing the setup. If you do zero touch at installation, ideally, it is during a failover or during the process of repair, you have a lot of automation as well. So that together forms zero touch.
What is the best thing that the vendor community can do to help CSPs like Verizon as the transformation journey continues? What do you think they could do to make life better and easier? And are they doing it?
Yes, indeed. So I think it's all about, we heard this here at the conference, it's about a community which jointly, ideally in a joint way, is developing solutions here in this space. And I think we do this already with our VNS solution, virtual network services. Now, when it comes down to what can the vendors do better, or how can they help us better, I think it's ideally, or maybe I just want to touch on two things. One is depart from a view that physical is always virtual. So what I want to say by that is there is not just a one-to-one mapping. So licenses is a good example where the size of a license in the physical world is often linked to a device that is physical. You have it in a shelf. You max it out or not, but it's there and you have it. So in the virtual world, a few things are different. Yeah, we want to scale better here. We want to do more things dynamically. So this one-to-one mapping sometimes is a bit difficult to manage, and it's difficult for our customers if they need to buy the solutions that we crafted that way. So we need more efficient ways to do this more dynamically and scalable in certain instances. Another example is maybe onboarding of new services here, where vendors play a crucial role. Definitely it is about how can we make sure that new appliances are working within the environment that we want to use them, which is the so-called onboarding. But onboarding goes much further than that. It goes to throughput testing as well. It goes to things like, which come later then into play, service chain management. And of course, again, repair process, because if you have an automated setup, repair has to be automated as well. So all your errors that you generate, as another example, have to be tested during onboarding as well. So here, I think, again, this community that I was initially referring to, we need to find more efficient ways working together, getting things out faster to market, and making sure that this agility that our customers is expecting, we have it across the board during this process.
How do you think automation will help CSPs provide their customers with the best possible quality of experience?
Yeah, so if we all for a second maybe do a step back and we just look at what are the big promises of automation. So there are a few, and I think one is definitely, if you just look at the speed at which we roll out services, and what do we mean by that? So it's you can link it to number of devices, to number of appliances that we have to roll out for large enterprise customers. That's one thing. So this is not just about being fast, but it is about being as fast as possible and having a predictable service quality in that what we do. So that our pattern, our repeatable pattern, or the look and feel of what we do is always the same, which is not always given. If you have a geographic, maybe a global network, you have different processes in the old world. Yeah. So this is one of the things, and then maybe the other one is to eliminate steps in the fulfillment, in the delivery process. How can we make that simpler? How can we make the customer experience better? And then maybe finally, customer seat at the table. So we work very intensively with our larger customers so that we understand what is it that they actually expect from us, what is it that we have to put into our solutions. And this whole environment, I think, is ideal for really making that happening, because now when we talk about orchestration and automation, we can talk about different ways of management, co-management. So customers are often asking us, can you virtualize my appliances here as well? So what you do is good, but it's not good enough. So they challenge us, which I think is really great. And it's directly linked to what automation and SDN services are able to deliver.
Excellent, thank you. How are virtualization and automation allowing you at Verizon to offer your customers innovative services? And more to the point actually here, what types of services are they buying from you or taking from you right now?
Yes, so maybe I depart from the way how we did this traditionally. So at the core of what we do are managed network services, managed security services, just to name a few. So we had the situation 10 years ago, we had our traditional MPLS services, and how it is interesting to see the evolution now into the SDN space, which kind of explains how these developments and solutions are adding value. So you go as the first product, like 3 years ago, we have launched SD-WAN, which is then taking the concept of a traditional MPLS service to a new level by adding public IP services next to that, and gives you an efficient way to balance traffic with a direct, centrally controlled policy manager in a more efficient way. But then all of a sudden, that is still leaving you with a couple of devices out. It is not necessarily integrating cloud as such directly, so there is more opportunity to do. And then this was the point where virtual network services are coming into play, the concept of a universal CPE, where you had these appliances then put all together, which makes the whole setup simpler to deploy, simpler to deliver. And then we just talked about orchestration and the automation, which is kind of the environment where it all comes together, that customers have now the ability to directly interface with what they do, to have their service managed or unmanaged if they want to take parts themselves, yeah, and add more value by just responding to that, what we call the real-time enterprise, which is all about change in this economic environment that we live in.
We've looked at the upside, the very positive potential for all of this. If there's any downside, of the other side of the coin, as it were, is in the operational and cultural challenges that are facing CSPs as they begin to automate key functions in the network. What's happening in Verizon in that regard?
I started with my analogy just for the question before, with describing how we moved from MPLS services by adding SD-WAN to virtual network services. Yep. So I think this analogy can be also used to describe the transformational shift that we see, not just from product development and the agile mode of delivering products, and certainly you can add IT into that, where the whole concept of agility originally derives from. It is also about having a model of transformation for service delivery, for repair, for all the functions that potentially come at a later stage. So it's more post-sales than pre-sales. So what we have done is, so we acknowledge that this is maybe a hybrid mode of operation. We still have our traditional services. Customers want them, we need them. So this is not an either or, it is not a black and white. It is a hybrid model of operation where we gradually potentially shift things. So how is this best being achieved? I think definitely by just from the start of the journey, so from the early stages of product development, we work together with operations. We have them developing the solution with us so that we can account in an ideal way for their challenges. Yeah? And then, of course, there are other functions that have to come together here as well. So this is agile mode of product development, and I think it is absolutely adequate also in addressing some challenges later on in deployment phase, where we have teams that jointly feed back experiences into the product development directly, and we get the results and they put it to a test and then we feed it back again. So this is really the agile environment that we need to roll these services out quickly.
Very clear indeed. Helmut Zerner, thank you very much indeed.
You are welcome. Thank you very much.